Today, we're setting out from the old stone village of Worth Matravers for a gentle circuit through some of Purbeck's most beautiful coastal country. We'll pass the folds of the land above Chapman's pool, follow the southwest coast path towards St Aldhelm's Head, and return by way of Winspit and the village lanes. For those who know and love Dorset, we hope this walk brings back the feel of it. The pale stone walls, the salt in the air, the skylarks overhead, and that old Wessex feeling that the land has been quietly keeping stories for centuries. Worth Matravers is one of those villages that seem to have grown straight out of the rocks beneath it. Its cottages, walls and lanes are all shaped by Purbeck stone. And even its famous pub, the Square and Compass, carries the mark of the old trades. The pub was once called the Sloop, a name with a whiff of sails, smuggling and sea lanes. Around 1830, stonemason Charles Bower gave it the name we know today, after the tools of masonry and carpentry. Personally, I think he chose well. It even has a small fossil museum inside, which feels wonderfully fitting for a village perched so close to the Jurassic Coast. We don't usually let Chester off the lead here. He has a generous spirit and a poor understanding of personal boundaries, especially where other dog walkers are concerned. But with no one in sight, we decided to let him have a little freedom. A little too much freedom. Thankfully, he came back, but we decided we didn't fancy spending the afternoon conducting a small-scale rescue mission along the Jurassic Coast. So, back on went the lead. Chester, to his credit, accepted this with great dignity. From there, we made our way towards the working stone quarries near Worth Matravers. Quarrying has shaped this part of Purbeck for centuries. The cliffs, the cottages, the walls, and even the path seem to carry its mark. The Suttle family has been involved in Purbeck quarrying for generations. And today, the local quarries still supply Dorset limestone and Purbeck stone for building and restoration. It is a reminder that this landscape is not only beautiful, but still quietly working. Past the quarry, our first signpost pointed us towards Chapman's pool. The path here asks you to slow down. The stone underfoot is uneven, and every step needs a little care. But that is not a bad thing. It gives you time to hear the birds in the hedgerows, to notice the dry stream beds beside the path, and to feel the morning settle around you. With every signpost, Chapman's Pool drew a little nearer. But part of the pleasure of a walk like this is not rushing to the view. We stopped beneath the leaves, where the sunlight came through in broken pieces, and the breeze carried just enough coolness to soften the heat of the morning. For a moment, there was nothing to do but stand still and let Dorset arrive. One thing you cannot escape on this coast is the hills. Purbeck has the habit of making you earn the view. But when the land finally opened out before us, it was worth every step. Chapman's Pool lay below, held in the curve of the cliffs, the sea stretching beyond in a sheet of silver blue. A perfect place for lunch. Chester agreed, though he was also quite clear when lunch was over and the expedition should continue. As we followed the coast path, we began to notice words carved into the large stones along the way. These are the poetry stones above Chapman's Pool, 6 in total, spread along the path. The words were written by local poet Paul Hylan and carved by stonemason Anna Bowen. They feel very at home here, not shouting for attention, just waiting quietly in the walls, half poem and half geology. Soon, we reached the Royal Marines Memorial, set into a garden above the sea. It was unveiled in 1990 and is dedicated to the Royal Marines killed since 1945. There is a stone picnic bench, a donation box for the upkeep of the garden walls, and a stillness that asks you to pause. Some places are viewpoints, others are places to remember. This one is both. Now came the largest uphill struggle of the walk. Just look at all those steps waiting for us. On paths like these, I always wonder how many feet have passed this way before us. Quarrymen, coastguards, smugglers, shepherds, walkers, and holiday makers with sandwiches wrapped in paper. Some people found clever little ways between the hills to avoid the climb. Not us, of course. We marched nobly upwards, with only a little complaining. We passed a strange round structure in the grass. At first glance, we wondered whether it might have had some wartime purpose, perhaps connected with the defence and radar work once carried out around the headland. We couldn't confirm exactly what it was though, so for now it remains one of those small mysteries of the walk. Ahead of us, the building of St Aldhelm's Head came into view. To one side stands St Aldhelm's Chapel, a small, sturdy 12th century chapel dedicated to St Aldhelm, the early Bishop of Sherborne. It gives the headland its name, though mariners have long called this place St Aldhelm's Head, which is why the Coast Watch station uses that version today. Nearby is the National Coast Watch Lookout, where volunteers keep watch over the sea. The present lookout building was originally built for HM Coast Guard in the 1970s, and since the mid-1990s it has been used by the National Coast Watch Institution. But during the Second World War, this quiet headland had another life. The surrounding area was taken over for secret radar research by the Telecommunication Research Establishment. It is strange to think of this peaceful place, with its sheep, stone walls and sea wind, playing a part in one of the most important scientific efforts of the war. A little further on, we came across the ruined foundations of old quarry buildings. They are easy to miss at first: low walls, broken lines of stone, the remains of working lives. Chester was not especially impressed when I went down to investigate, leaving him and Shane up on the cliff to supervise from a comfortable distance. But these ruins are a reminder that this was once a busy place. Not just a scenic path, but a working coast, full of hammering, hauling, dust, weather, and men earning their living from the stone. On my return, Shane pointed out a strange formation in the sky. Fine, wave-like clouds stretched above the sea. I'd been so busy looking down at the stones that I had missed the weather writing its own lines overhead. by now, the heat of the day was catching up with poor little Chester, so out came the slang and in went the pup.
Is that better?
He took to luxury travel with remarkable speed, looking every inch the retired lord of the manor being carried across his estate. Winspit Quarry is now closed to the public for safety reasons, and the area is also important for bats, so we admired it from a respectful distance. For many years, stone was taken from these cliffs and sent away for building, including to London. During the Second World War, the area also had a military role, and in more recent times, Winspit's dramatic caves and ledges have made a filming location for productions including Doctor Who, Star Wars Andor, and John Carter. It is a place where industry, wildlife, war history, and imagination all seem to overlap. There is even a local tale that Winspit may have grown from wind spirit, though that feels more like folklore than firm history. Still, standing here with the sea wind in your ears, it is easy to see why the story survives. With Winspit behind us, we began the final climb back towards Worth Matravers, the last hill of the journey. Chester, having made a full assessment of the temperature, decided that walking was once again beneath him. As we came back into Worth Matravers, the old stone cottages gathered around us again. There is a timelessness here. Red foam box, duck pond, weathered walls, and lanes that seem to remember every boot that ever passed along them. This part of Purbeck was once alive with quarrymen, coastguards, smugglers, scientists, poets, and walkers. Today, we only borrowed it for a few hours. But we hope, wherever you were watching from, you felt the sea air for a moment, heard the birds in the hedges, and came with us step by step around this beautiful corner of Dorset.